Hello, this is Crypto CJ. Welcome to today's trade of the day. It's a Friday afternoon edition and got some regulars, got some new people. It's all good. Bitcoin, Ethereum took a big dump this week. Really messed up some of my trades. What do we do now? We've had a pretty good recovery today. Let's check out the Bitcoin chart and try to put a game plan together. All right, you guys should be seeing my 8-hour Bitcoin chart.
Yes.
All right, very good. As you can see, Bitcoin totally blew off my trend line from Monday. Actually, we didn't have a Zoom on Monday. This is from a week ago. And it did bounce off this 200 EMA. So maybe it's using this as support. We dipped below 60, we dipped below 56. A lot of prognosticators, talking heads, whatever you want to call them, were predicting a drop down to 55. Maybe this is it, or maybe we're going to bounce and go down again over the weekend. It's hard to say. I've got an alert set here, right around 55 to ladder buy some of my positions and then maybe buy some new ones as well. So that's something guys might want to keep an eye out over the weekend. Could be some good entry points. And I was talking with Linnell earlier before we started the recording. I did do a quick purchase on leverage on DOT when it was dropping. So there were some good dips out there to be traded. I would have traded more, but I wasn't sure if it had dropped enough. That's sort of the what we as day traders and dip traders try to figure out. Has it dropped enough? Is it gonna, in that situation, sometimes you go in maybe half or a third of your usual amount and be ready to buy in again if it keeps dropping. So I find that's the best approach on that situation, but love to buy me some dips. All right, any questions on Bitcoin? I don't know if this was news driven or just due because it hit a high last week. Our last last week we were talking about hitting the all-time high of 68 and change. That was pretty exciting. We had a big drop when we hit the prior high back in October. We dropped from 68 down to 58, so about 13% drop. This time it was bigger because we had more room to go. We had 68.9, dropped almost 19% down to 56. So I don't know if this is going to be the trading range now. This 20% hit a high, then drop again. I thought this one would push into the 70s and then we'd have a drop, but didn't quite make it. All right, Ethereum. This is a 4-hour chart, and it was riding this trend line up, and it really crashed hard through it on the 15th, same day as Bitcoin. Bitcoin was probably responsible for this Ethereum drop. We went from the all-time high of 48 and change on the 10th, about the same as Bitcoin, 19% drop, a pretty good recovery today. Of course, I caused this recovery. I did an Ethereum short, a new one. You guys know about my prior Ethereum short. I was in it for about 6 weeks, racked up a bunch of funding fees, so that was fun, but ended up being a loss, just a small one though. But again, it's my superstitious contribution to my community that whenever I buy Ethereum or Bitcoin, it goes the opposite direction. So I'm pushing it up again.
Well, maybe you could buy a short on Bitcoin and help us all out here.
Yeah, I got a problem with that because I bought a Bitcoin long earlier in the week. So, but my Ethereum short is more recent. So hence the movement today. But anyway, it's all superstitious nonsense, but fun to talk about. All right, so Ethereum's back to almost to 4,300 today. Pretty good recovery. It was below, so you can see right at 39.60 yesterday. So pretty good day of recovery. Very curious to see what the weekend holds for us. If we're going to have a double dip, maybe that'll be a triple dip, or if we're going to keep working our way back. Be ready for either situation. Set your alerts accordingly. If you drop down below on Ethereum to around 3,900, Bitcoin below 5,500, could be some nice dips. On the CryptNation call with Bryce yesterday, I agree that I think it's unlikely we're going to go down to the 40s. I think that the 55 to 53 areas probably are going to be our lowest. I think the institutions will jump on and buy up anything in that range. So, all right, let's see if the chatters have something to say. All right, Brooklyn with some pretty basic welcomes. It's good, all good. All right. Any questions on Bitcoin or Ethereum or the overall market before we look at Altcoin Alert?
Yeah, I don't like the way that the prices are falling the Bollinger Band, the lower band. Now that's a 50-day average. You see, and as soon as it turned to start to go down, there's that one big red bar. So I think some of the whales are watching this lower band, which actually is weighted to past history. So we should pay more attention to what this lower 50-day Bollinger Band does.
So with that in mind, I would agree with Patrick that maybe setting some alerts down in this vicinity on the bottom of the band might be helpful for a dip entry, or are you just suggesting watching it?
Following the lower, just before the big red bars. See where that circle is?
You mean the SMA line? Oh, you mean the volume?
The lower Bollinger Band where it,
Okay, well, that's the
where
lower
it goes
Bollinger
up
Band.
and then comes down.
Okay, up and then
Right
down.
there. No, yeah, go back right there.
Okay.
Somebody noticed that it was turning for the worst. Like they may have an algorithm that can calculate it into the future because it's a 50-day average of standard deviations. So we need to track that more carefully.
Okay. Yeah, as the bottom of the Bollinger Band is usually a good entry point, at least to consider. This is the foundation of our dip trades. We don't usually look at 1, 2, 3 dips on the 4-hour chart. Some day traders, I usually look at the hour chart before I make a decision. But on the 5-minute, looks quite a bit different. But it is a good idea to know the overall market, before you enter in your day trades. I'm not sure
How
if that
far
quite-
in advance? Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
How far out can you see the Bollinger Band though? Does it just end where today is? Because what Patrick is talking about is the future. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a
you have
lagging
where it's
indicator,
going.
but what do we do with that information? So, we do use the Bollinger Bands, they're critical in our 1, 2, 3 dip approach. So, I like it for that reason, but that's really, I'm trying to think, that's about the only way I use the Bollinger Bands is to look for trading ranges and entry points, usually in dip trades, occasionally in squeeze trades, but.
Right, but we just can't tell if the Bollinger Band is going up or down beyond the current moment. So we don't know if even the Bollinger Band is going to be predicting a dip.
Yeah, Patrick, maybe you can clarify for us. Are you saying the Bollinger Band has more, predictive ability maybe than we've been discussing lately, or?
Well, I know a lot about math. And now this is kind of like a 50-day moving average, right?
Right.
But instead of being an average of prices, it's an average of standard deviations of the price from the middle line.
Right.
So it's just a mathematical expression. But what's interesting here is that lower band just started to go down, and then a whole bunch of people sold big.
Right. That's on the 4-hour chart.
Yeah, the 4-hour chart.
that we were looking
Right
at
there.
earlier, right here.
Now, all of those actions, all the way down to the right from there, are not going to affect that much the value of the Bollinger Band because it goes back 50 whole days. All right. So I'm thinking if you just gave it a constant value and did the math on your own spreadsheet, you could see it go down because it went down before in the past. I'll work
Yeah.
on that and get back to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not 50 days, it's 50 time periods. It's my understanding.
Oh,
So
you're
since we're on the,
absolutely right. It's
since we're on the
50
4-hour
periods.
chart, it's 50
Yeah.
4-hour.
And it depends on the bars on the chart.
Mhm.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But I think there is predictability here.
Okay. Well, I'm curious to see what you come up with on that. But I think it might be a little beyond the scope of our show as far as detailed math evaluation of Bollinger Bands. I don't want to scare away the new people, but I like where you're going. And Patrick's always looking for angles and things like that. I like that about him. So, all right. Where were we? Let's go to Altcoin Alert. All right. And for you new folks, you may be used to seeing, you may have your easy mode on. Looks like I made some changes. I actually missed the Thursday call, so, or the Tuesday call. This looks a little different to me. But usually I'm not interested in easy mode. I want to have all the information. So, which you can find on Altcoin Radar with the easy mode off. And the first thing I do is I search the AA score. I sort by that, and we have a rare 100 score on Mana. It's already up 10%, but it could be worth a look. I've actually put a low buy order in on this. I like this project, and it has some use in the the metaverse, gaming, that kind of thing. But what do we do with this information? We've got a big pump here up past $5. That was the end of the month. I think that was a listing. Not sure. Not sure what caused that. If someone knows, let me know. And then it on the day chart, it dropped quite a bit, about half, down to 230. Now it's back up to 420. This one's been really volatile this month. We'll look at the 1-hour chart to get a closer view. We had a high up to 422. It dropped, with the big drop we had on the 15th, and then it recovered all of that and then some. So yeah, okay. Vera's saying Facebook changed their name to Meta. Yeah, I think we knew that, and maybe that helped the coins that have some. Yeah, they obviously helped the coins that have some metaverse functionality. Sandbox with virtual land, and I think Mana has something like that too. Okay, so we're kind of near the recent high, which isn't my favorite place to enter a trade. So what I did was I looked at the support we have here. I'm seeing support. Change this. Sorry, having a little computer problem here. All right, anyway, I'll just have to show it to you. I see support here around 387. Some more here, about 390. So I think if you catch us between 387 and 390, that would be a good entry, a good short-term support. So I had one set a little bit below that, and I canceled that and raised it up to about 395. I'm trying to catch a dip down here, and then hopefully that would be a good entry point. setting low buy orders can be a bit risky. I mean, this one's not real low that I've set. If this takes a plunge over the weekend, I get filled at 395 and then it drops down to 350, then I could be stuck for a while. I don't mind that too much, since on my low buy orders I tend to go with a lower percentage of my available balance to trade, just because I know it's riskier. A better course of action is just to set an alert. Add an alert here at maybe 392. I just right clicked on trading view. You could call this, for me, I use dip ? And then I'm good to go. So that's what I like to do on coins I'm trying to catch in a better situation than where they are now. It's rare for me to look for a coin and immediately have it where I want it to be. That happens maybe 5 to 10% of the time. So that's a little frustrating for you guys to come on the show and I don't make any trades because coins aren't where I want them to be. Now, if you have a strong belief that this coin's going to pump, you want to do a trend trade. Maybe you think it's going to go up here to where it was at the end of October. We've got mostly higher highs trending up. I would wait for some candle action here. It's above the SMA line. If it looks like it wants to break through the top of the Bollinger Band, your potential profit up to even like 460 would be pretty good, 8%. I think this is a risky trade and I'm not interested in it, but if you feel strongly about this and you see that, well, the Altcoin Alert 100 score states that this has a 100% chance based on prior activity to get us 3% or more in the next 72 hours. So I would still prefer to get a better entry than just go ahead and going in now and trying to ride this, but I could be wrong. All right, any questions on Mana before I move on? Alrighty then, the other one I liked was TRAC. I bought this earlier in the week on Coinbase Pro. And we will check that one out. So this had a new listing, I think on Coinbase Pro. Yeah, so what I want to emphasize with this chart, let me go to the 4-hour chart. Now, those of you who monitor the Slack group, the significant developments, this is something I've talked about for the last couple of months. We get this big pump here, and a lot of times we don't catch this. The insiders have done this, and there's nothing we can do. All that the TIE can do, and that's the information source for the SIG devs, is to let us know when this is the information is released on Twitter and or the Coinbase Pro website. So if you get that information here, it's kind of risky to try to catch this up. I mean, 30% is pretty awesome, but sometimes they go, they just crash down too. So what I like to do is let it ride up pretty high and then look for a, set a low buy order, which is kind of risky, or set an alert down here, just about where the end of the candle is. This wick is usually a big pump and then a big drop, because what'll happen frequently, at least it has in the last 6 to 8 weeks, is there'll be a second pump. I want to catch the second pump and try to get 5 to 10%. So let's say you did that and you got in right around here, it goes down, comes up, if you got 20, 15, 20%, get out. That's a great day trade. And of course, I'm on the hour chart. Let's go to the 5-minute chart, or maybe 15-minute. So this is annoying. 30-minute. All right, so you maybe get in here, it drops on you at first. It's a little scary because you're down 20%, but then it goes up here and you're up 20%. I'd be looking for just like a 5 to 10% bump, and I'd be getting that right about, right about here in 4.5 hours. I love that as a day trader. So the second pump, is pretty cool. And this one even had a third pump and a fourth pump. So, I mean, trading those as well, obviously would be lucrative, but could be risky. But, look for these second pumps. That's the point I'm trying to make. All right, let's go to the chart and the let's see, on the 1 hour, it was trending down pretty hard. Then it had a nice recovery. And I kind of whiffed on this. I bought this at around 188, and based on the AA score and some other evaluation I did, then we had that big dump. And I should have ladder bought. I didn't because this is a new coin to me, and my concern that it would just keep dropping. But I should have set an alert when it showed some signs of recovery like this, like right about here, this morning, and gotten in with another position, but I missed it. So I'm down a little bit on this one, but I'm just hoping it goes back to $2 and I'll get out. But anyway, any questions on TRAC or SIG devs or anything like that before I move on? All right. And then to be clear, when I'm looking at an AA score, an AA score is trying to predict the future. So I don't really care about the other columns. And when I do sorts based on these other columns, that's when they're more relevant to me. We'll get to that in a minute. Hey Thor, I've never heard of. Lena, it's kind of frustrating for me. I used to trade this when I was on Binance, but I'm off Binance now. For those of you who are on Binance, we'll go ahead and check it out. Okay, day chart. Let's see, it was listed back in March. Had the big drop in May and April. Recovered, dropped, kind of went sideways. Got up to 88.6 cents earlier this month. Pretty big drop since then. On the hour, recent high, looks like some resistance here right around 6.5 cents. It's at 5.1 cents now. Really squeezy here. This is, unless you want to do a squeeze trade, which, yeah, it's not even 1% between the Bollinger Bands, which is a terrible entry. So this is another one I want to do, look for some support. We do have higher highs and mostly higher lows until, late this morning, early this afternoon. Probably be looking for an entry around here, around 5 cents, maybe a little bit below, like 0.049. And then we've got, some resistance here, right around 5.2 cents. 4.3% day trade's really good, so that's not a bad situation. All right, any questions about the AA scores? I'm going to move on to some different sorts on Altcoin Alert. Okay. Let's do social activity sort. Because a lot of times we get very bullish on long-term sentiment and bullish on elder impulse and very bullish on long-term sentiment, but I'm not really seeing any of those today from this sort. So let's try, this is one I wanted to, I haven't done this one in a long time. The 1 hour projected range sort. This is supposed to be fast money right here. Like in the next, just like it says, 1 hour range. Sorry. Sentiment, momentum, price momentum, to estimate the range 1 hour from now. So OGN I like. I've traded this before. The upper range is 6 point, lower is 1.2. I think you'd have to be cautious with this kind of sort. I would probably make sure some of the other columns are at least neutral or normal. Got neutral AA score, normal and social and trading activity, though they're both down a little bit. But this one's predictive as well. So we're less concerned about these others, more interested in just this information here. We've got neutral and bullish across the board, and we're up 3% on OGN. So yeah, let's check it out. I should be on this one. Okay, you're seeing a trend here. Most of these are on the 1 hour. I'm sorry, the 1 day. I mean, this had a huge run up back in May. It really hasn't recovered from that. It's gotten back up to about 138, 148. Now it's down to right around $1. On the 1 hour, it's been mostly lower lows and lower highs. Did come up a little bit today or yesterday. Okay, on the 1 hour, had nice movement up over $1, and then we drop below, or like right at. So again, we're in this super squeezy area. Yeah, less than 2%. I really prefer dip trades, and I like big bubbles like this. So, between the Bollinger Bands, 9%, love that. I'm usually looking for at least 3% or higher, because this could do anything where, this kind of action is a little bit more predictive. So we've got support here around 96 cents. Again at 99 cents. You caught that one. Up to this resistance would be 5%. Love that. So I'd probably set alerts for this support area here, the support area here. And then, buy in maybe 1, 2, or 3 small portions, and then wait for the, see if we can get that recovery. Maybe back to between $1 and $1.04. So that does sort of contradict the 1 hour plan, because it's, if you want to do the 1 hour thing instead of a longer base trade like I just described, a little bit of resistance or support here right around 99 cents, maybe that's your entry. And you try to go to the top of the Bollinger Band, 2.3%, not bad. A little bit of support or resistance here, 2.8%. Then up here we're at just under 5%. So those are good trades too. All right, any questions on OGN and the 1 hour projected sort? All right, let's try another sort. Let's do the Elder Impulse hourly. I'm feeling short term today because I didn't trade this much this week. Okay, we've got, this one's just going to give us bearish, neutral, and bullish. It's not going to tell us if it's very bullish or very bearish. And the Elder Impulse is a combination of trends and momentum and And essentially elder impulse is a technical indicator where, sentiment is what's happening on the street, what's going on in the Twitterverse. So we've got Ethereum, BNB, Solana, some of the classics here on top. We talk about Solana a lot and ADA. Let's XRP dot. Yeah, these are all coins I like to trade. XRP not as much, but ADA's disappointed me lately. But Solana and DOT have been better. So we'll look at Solana. Okay, on the day. It's had crazy movement this month, last month. So put this elsewhere. All right, we were all the way up to 250, almost right at 260, then pretty big drop. And it's had a better price action today. It has, yeah, it's up from 192 to drop. I had an alert set on this and I didn't trade it. Hit late at night, slept through it. So it's up to 214 today. Not a bad, maybe not a bad entry based on recent history. Trending up in the last few hours. Higher highs, higher lows until late this morning, then trending down a little bit. So it's looking like the rest of the coins we've looked at, less than 3% between the Bollinger Bands, kind of hanging around the SMA line. Not seeing a real obvious entry here. If you think it's going back to 260, you see some candle action here. And want to catch a trend trade, that would be okay. I just don't, I like retraces if you haven't noticed. Gets up to 236, that's 10%, that's really good. As far as catching a dip, support here at 194.6. Some more here right around 200, maybe slightly below 200, slightly above would be a good entry point. Yeah. Where is that alert? You can sort your old alerts here and reinstate them. Yeah, here it is. So this is my alert at 199. I'm just going to click that back on and it comes back. So. All right, any questions on Solana or any of the other sorts? Okay, Cheryl's asking, do you have an opinion on SOL for a long hold? Yeah, she's asking us if, whether I think Solana is a long hold, a good project or not is beyond the scope of the show. It kind of is, but I don't discourage anybody from finding out all the information they can on something they trade. Overall, it's valuable, and here's why. I talk a lot about ladder buying on this show, which contradicts the teachings of people who prefer stop losses. I do use stop losses from time to time in certain strategies, definitely. But if you believe in the project, it has good fundamentals, and you get stuck in it for a few months, that's where that knowledge comes in handy. Maybe you just want to pull it off an exchange and stake it and sell it later. So that's why I do think there is some value in not just looking at charts, but knowing the big picture of what you trade. It's not critical as day traders, but it is helpful. It's just sort of a backup plan. All right. Brooklyn's chiming in. Yes, he believes in Solana. If I only hold Bitcoin and Ethereum. And if I did hold more coins, Solana would be one of them. So whatever that's worth. I wouldn't want to buy it at $200 though. I'd be waiting for the next big crash and buying it then. if for coins I want to hold, I'm going to wait for the 40 to 50% crashes and then buy. But that just hasn't really worked out for me yet because I'm churning my balance on day trades and swing trades. So I'm probably not the best source of expertise on long-term hodling. So I'll leave that to the guys in CryptNation. They're far more qualified than I. All right, the chat's kind of perking up. All right, you're welcome. And okay, we're at right about 40 minutes.
Can I ask a quick question here,
Sure.
CJ? I've got my second screen going, and I'm doing on the altcoin radar, like on Solana that you just did. I click on the Solana symbol and I bring up the sentiment versus the market price. So is that with the sentiment, with that chart there, with the sentiment being lower than the price is right now, is that kind of supporting what you're saying, that your bid should, hopefully the price will come down to like 199? Is that I know there's supposed to be no TA done on this chart over here, but yeah, so if you like click on the Solana symbol there, that comes up, and those seem to be on the altcoin radar page.
You're talking about clicking on this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's
Is that at all?
There's somebody in our group who teaches about this, named Pat Thompson. Like, he hasn't done a Zoom in a while. I haven't heard from him. I hope he's okay. But
Right.
he was talking
Okay, yeah, I
about,
saw one of him.
yeah, he was talking about at least checking out a coin when there's a significant gap between the price and the AA score, essentially the reverse of what you're seeing here. So when the AA score is high and the price is quite a bit below it, that's worthy of further investigation. Of course, there's no statistical significance
Yeah,
between
exactly.
but in Pat's opinion, and I've tinkered with this a little bit myself, there can be some value in at least checking out coins that have the reverse of what you're seeing now.
Right.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, must have been.
Now, I've said this before, but what we all hoped for when we got into Altcoin Alert was just tell us what to do. Because, it's just way easier than having to do technical analysis. But, I've explained this a few times. I had, 8 or 9 months of day trading experience at the time. So I just viewed this as an information source of coins to check out. That's how I still use it. I'm not beholden to these AA scores, but they're, they catch my attention when they're high. And if I can get into a coin where I want, I find they're successful, and especially employing ladder buying, they're very successful. And it's a good tool to use, but it's one of several information sources I use. All right, any other questions on Altcoin Alert or any of the sorts? You want to do some different sorts or look at some different projects? All right.
CJ,
Yes.
Craig here. Yeah, not a particular coin, but something I've been looking at is when you're in trading, sorry, not in trading view, in whatever, like Binance or whatever, and you're looking at the chart, there's a depth view there. And you can look at the depth and you can see the strength of the buys and sells. Have you had any experience of that? And using that to help decide which way a coin's going?
I haven't used it for that purpose. Not a bad idea, but I have used it to try to find, a more specific entry point. Look at the, what Craig's talking about is looking at the, the buy and sell orders that are, that are happening on the actual exchange you're trying to trade. Sort of advanced, and there can be some tomfoolery and shenanigans on such things. Sometimes the exchanges will throw in fake orders to make you think there's more volume than there is. I don't know if Binance does that. I hope not, but yeah, to be candid, I don't use it that much, but I have a few times in the past, and some of the people who I've learned from like to look at it as well to determine, more specific entry points. All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I do have a chat question from Vera asking about GALA, just listed on Coinbase. Yeah, this is a good one. I'm glad you brought this to my attention because I wanted to look at, this might be one of those double pumpers, or are we too late? GALA listed on Binance. Yeah, this was listed a while ago. Yeah, in September on the 13th. So yeah, the recent pump didn't really have anything to do with the listing. I don't recall what this one does. This may have some metaverse connections as well. Or maybe it was listed on another exchange here, maybe on. How long has it been on Binance? About the same amount of time. So yeah, I'm not sure what caused this, but that's a nice pump. I wonder if just big pumps, we could also do the double pump thing. That's something to consider, because look at this. I mean, we're on the day chart. It pumps way up here to 28 cents, drops down to 20 cents, and it pumps again, 26 cents. What can we do with that? It's up here. I don't know. It's intriguing if we could just keep an eye on this kind of thing. And some of these big pumps that happen, then they crash. How likely are they to go up again? I just want, another 5%. Might be 5 to 10%. That'd be cool. So let's keep an eye on that. I mean, I haven't done that yet. I've been doing that with the new listings, but we should just, for these random pumps that come out of nowhere, when they drop, how likely are they to pump again? Maybe 5 or 10%. Let's try to keep an eye on that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I've done that Coinbase Pro listing on GALA. So, all right. Well, at this time, I will throw this open to whatever you want to talk about in crypto. We're at right about 45 minutes now on the recording, so hoping to wrap this up in like next 5 minutes. But if you don't chime in, then I'll wrap it up now. So. All right. Are we all shy tonight? Could do what my friend Connie does on her Zoom. She just picks people and talks to them like a teacher in geometry class or something.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Brooklyn chiming in.
So I just wanted to talk about everything that we're seeing for this next for the end of the year for Bitcoin.
That's
and
a good idea.
As y'all know, everybody's looking for an exit strategy. Everybody's looking for the best way or whatever. So everyone share. I encourage everyone to share, like, what is their what is their idea? Well, what do they think they're gonna do? For exiting, or even are you gonna exit everything? I mean, are there some coins out there that you believe that with this halving coming, are people going to get bored with Bitcoin and then start moving into like more gaming, more metaverse, more other things? Is it going to turn into its own thing where like Bitcoin is no longer like popular because it's in a bear market, and then maybe Bitcoin and then these metaverse and NFTs and all these different things that are popping up turn into and get it their own category? That's something for everyone to think about, and I think we can talk more about that next week. But this week coming for Thanksgiving, we always know that they have some futures expirations coming. Now, during the year, we always pump it up and we think something's going to happen, and then nothing ever happens. However, right now, these futures that are expiring next week are whether they sell, they buy, or whatever, they're going to go on the mark for the fourth quarter for that year. So a lot of people wanted to sell when they're at a loss, take that write-off, and then try to buy back in. Now, you know that you can't buy back in immediately. You have to wait for the new quarter to start. So that's something to look out for. Not only is it, we're all going to be sleeping on Thursday. Nobody's at the office. On Wednesday, everybody's going to be leaving the office soon. And whoever's looking for some kind of money or whatever, if they're looking to get some kind of cash flow out for their Thanksgiving holidays, it's going to come out of the market first, and that's going to affect crypto.
All right, a lot of good, Brooklyn's dropping some dimes here. So good timing things to consider.
I'm just thinking, y'all, everyone needs to be really careful with, like, they're seeing that the market's like recovering. They're seeing some green and stuff. And honestly, I don't think it's over yet. I think they're waiting for like a good amount of people to get back in with their leverage. As you saw this past week, they had like 2 or 3 times where they shaked out leverage, but they weren't able to actually shake out a lot. What that tells you is that the people don't care. They know that Bitcoin's going to fly. And as soon as they get shaken out, they get right back in. And then if the whales come in and they want to shake those people out and they're not satisfied with how much leverage got shaken out, they're going to wait for a perfect time. And their perfect time is this week coming, I believe. I could be, I could be completely wrong. It could start flying tomorrow, but this is just something, I'm thinking everybody needs to have some cash on hand next week for some dips, and not get too excited right now with this. Call it a fake pump. I want to call it a fake pump before we really blast off.
Yeah, I can't disagree with any of that. I went ahead and sold a quarter of my Bitcoin just before the dump, so that fortunately worked out for me. But I was thinking of getting out of a lot of my hodls, like I mentioned earlier, Bitcoin and Ethereum, this towards the end of the year, and then buying back again, during the next dump we have next, in 2022. Brooklyn's timings talking more about a Thanksgiving drop. I thought it might be closer to the end of the year, might be just some crazy volatility in between. Yeah, these are all good things to consider in your timing on your probably on your swing and hodls, and then probably have something to do with your timing on your day trades too. You may just not want to make any, if you're concerned about the timing on some of these financial events and holidays and things like that. I need to go back and see what kind of holiday activity we had last year and the year before. We have more institutional action in the markets now, so I'm not sure if that'll be entirely relevant, but should be somewhat helpful. So
I remember it not being so filled, but I do remember a little dip coming and losing, a good percentage. But right after Thanksgiving, it came back, and that's when we had some pumps that went into like, February, March.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. So I will look into that. Patrick has a good comment in the chat if you guys want to check that out, talking about higher highs and higher lows of Bitcoin. That's pretty long, so I'm not going to read it all, but yeah, check out Patrick's opinion there in the chat. And any other questions or comments about what we've been talking about? All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here, and I'll hang around for a little while longer to talk about some other crypto stuff. See you next time.